This is Kelly, and it's time for your Wednesday Wellness Wake Up with Dr. Sharon Ufberg, brought to you by the Napa County Chiropractic Association. Good morning, Dr. Sharon.
Good morning,
How
Kelly.
are you? It's good to have you back.
Thank you. It's
Always
great
lots
to
of
be
fun.
back. Always a beautiful day in Napa Valley.
Yes, and you are just my best friend today because you brought in one of my dear friends.
I know. It's a love fest today with your
I know.
chiropractor,
It's
Dr.
so
Alan
true.
Esquibel. Alan, thanks so much for being here
Good
with us.
morning.
Thank you for
It's
inviting
great to
us.
have you
Thank very
here.
much.
It's really a pleasure to bring, your chiropractor. I thought it was, really important for everyone in Napa Valley to get to meet some of the chiropractors here in the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Allen and I, we Dr. E, that's what you like to be called,
Dr.
right?
E,
I'm Dr.
yeah.
Sharon, he's Dr. E. We both have been practicing chiropractic for, almost 30 years. And so we got to really ride this wave of, the popularity of chiropractic. And I thought, well, I would love to have, your chiropractor come in and tell us a little bit about, maybe give us, your elevator pitch about really what is chiropractic. And then I'd love to talk about, the kinds of people that come in to see you.
Sure, that'd be great. Well, just for those people who really are not familiar with chiropractic, basically the basic principle of chiropractic is to maintain the structural and functional integrity of the human nervous system. Okay, according to Gray's Anatomy, the function of the nervous system is to control and coordinate all the organs and structures and relate them to the individual to his or her environment. What does that all mean?
Yeah.
It means that the nervous system controls directly or indirectly all functions of the human body. As long as there is a free flow of nervous interference between your brain and body, adequate nutrition, hydration, exercise, and rest, the innate intelligence of the body will keep you healthy.
I mean, I
Okay?
think I love
Yeah.
this, that you really captured that very, very clearly and succinctly. I think it's really one of the things that we can be so proud about in chiropractic, that that we really were connecting the mind and the body, for a long, long time. It was as one of the early, really natural healers. Now it's very popular to,
Right.
natural medicine, holistic medicine. Chiropractors for hundreds of years have been saying, people have a natural ability to heal themselves, and we need to help in that way.
Exactly.
So, I think, that's very, it's very, in less technical terms, it's really just that. It's, helping people
Right.
keep their immune system strong, keeping their
Yes.
body functioning well. So Dr. E, tell me, where some of the kinds of people that walk in your office.
Oh, geez, all kinds of patients, okay.
Radio
And-
personalities?
like Kelly. Kelly's one of them, yeah. She came in a mess, pretty much.
It's true.
And we were able to work with her. She had, of course, came in with a whiplash injury.
Yes,
after
that was a car accident,
Car
yeah.
accident, and then we were able to help her through that, heal her through that. In the meantime, we took care of her allergies and her digestive problems, and
Yep.
because the nervous system can be affected by what we call vertebral subluxations. And we chiropractors identify those and correct them. And by doing that, we get that free flow of energy going from the brain and body again, and the body heals.
And
Okay?
mind you, Dr. Sharon, I didn't believe any of this. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was not a believer in any of this, and but I was in so much pain, and I was referred to Dr. Esquibel, and I believed he could fix my back. But when he said he could fix, my allergies were so severe. I was on steroids, daily inhaler, a rescue inhaler. I was so sick, and my immune system was so bad. I was getting sick constantly. I had recently had meningitis, and he said he could help with all of that. I didn't believe him, but I thought, I'm here anyway.
It's interesting, when I worked, I'm not in private practice anymore here in Napa, but when I was in practice at an integrative center in New York City, I had a lot of the pediatricians sending me, kids with asthma and allergies to help build up their immune system, to help get their body healing themselves.
Right.
And I think, today you don't have to believe, it's not like
No.
a religion, it's actually right. It's just helping, now we all, have a much better understanding of how, we take a holistic approach to our health and wellness.
Nowadays, we have a better understanding of good
Right.
nutrition and all these other things. But I'm living proof, and anybody that knew me back in those days can see now I don't take anything. I don't use an inhaler at all. I'm completely healed from
That's
my
fantastic.
allergies. And I even still say, gosh, I can't believe that. It's so amazing, you know.
Well, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to feel that empowered. Like you
Yeah.
really took back, with the help of Dr. E, you really took back the responsibility of your own health.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know it's very common for chiropractors to see people that have been involved in auto accidents. You know, you get. But what about headaches? Don't you see a lot of people with headaches?
Oh, lots of headaches, and the most common interference with people who have headaches is they have pressure on the nerve and artery going to the head. Okay, so we usually do a complete thorough orthopedic and neurological exam. If we identify that they do have misalignments or subluxations in the neck, we correct those and we just restore the normal blood flow, normal nerve flow to the brain. And we've been doing this for a century now, and with very, very high success rate with the headaches.
Yeah, I think that I think that people don't realize that when they do have their spine mobilized, they relax the muscles, that there is a very sedative effect, so that you get increased circulation, you get a relaxation response, and in fact, so whether you have like what consider a migraine headache, or whether you have stress-related headaches or eye strain-related headaches, people do respond very well to chiropractic around things like headaches. What else? What other
Of course,
cases?
we do the neck pain, the low back pain, sciatica. We do carpal tunnel syndrome.
Oh yeah, talk about that. The computer overuser.
yeah.
I actually didn't, because I've never dealt with that, so
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
that was something.
Very, very common malady in our daily workplace, because with computers, repetitive motions, things like that, people start developing a numbness and tingling in the fingers, pain, weakness in the fingers, and it's called carpal tunnel syndrome. It's just a syndrome where there's approximately about 9 tendons and 1 nerve goes into the fingers. The median nerve especially gets compressed, and it causes disability and malfunction of the fingers. And
I think one of the things people. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
One of the things I think people don't realize is that if you were to go into Dr. E's office, it's not just manipulation. That he does exercise rehabilitation, he does different kinds of physiotherapy, he gives nutritional advice. That this is really a truly whole person, whole body approach. And I think people sometimes don't know that. And I know, in my own practice, where I did a lot of exercise rehab for cases like carpal tunnel, where you have people that really need to look at their workstation, and they get advice about that. Look at their, the pillow they're sleeping on, their whole lifestyle. And I think the chiropractors were kind of the first lifestyle coaches.
Isn't that true?
Right, exactly. Because we have to. What I'd like to do is look at causes. Okay, if you don't look at the causes of the problem and causes of the subluxations, they're going to continue to go on. And so, if you don't deal with those, you're not going to take care of the problem. So.
Yeah, and I think that when people walk in, they may come in and they just have, a stiff neck, or they have, a gardening injury. They've been bending over there. Now we're finally, with all this rain, we're weeding, and people come in and they're saying, it's just like kind of the right side of my back. But then they come to find out really that, their shoes are worn out. They're not using the right, laptop. There's a whole look at how do I keep from actually having a backache when I bend over. What kind of exercise are they doing? It's very.
You're not just treating a symptom.
Right.
You're looking at the whole person,
and
the whole lifestyle.
Right, because stress comes in all forms. You could have physical stress, you could have emotional stress, and biochemical stress, and that affects the nervous system, affects the muscles, and affects the vertebrae, and then you have a problem, a symptom, So if you don't deal with those stresses to begin with, you're not going to deal with the problem. Right.
What about kids? Do kids come in to see you?
Oh, I love kids. Kids are almost like miracles.
I love kids.
I bring my kids to see Dr. Esquibel.
I have 2 kids, and we all have kids.
I have 3 kids.
So they're absolute miracles, because their bodies are so resilient and easy to fix and new. They once we free up that nervous system interference in their bodies, they get well really quickly, and all kinds of injuries, headaches, allergies, all everything that's related to that nervous system.
I think people don't realize, like, when your kid falls off their bike, say, or takes a big spill, or has, a swimming accident, these are things that, should be checked occasionally. These are, if a kid expresses symptoms, it's
Right.
very unusual. The kids are very, they bounce back, they fall down. So if you hear your kid complaining, then
Right.
there may have been something may have gotten kind of shifted out of place, and can be easily corrected.
Easy corrected. And they're the ones that get the fastest, okay? Because there's very little very little stress in their bodies. They just get better. They just
You just helped one of my kids with
Yes.
allergies.
Yes.
He had a little allergy thing going on, and we went in a couple different times, and boom.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What else? Any other interesting case that you can think of, or people that might not think about coming to a chiropractor where you could be helpful? You have any other interesting cases that walked in lately?
Oh, let's see. Oh, God, lots, all the time. All the time we have cases going in. So we have, let's see, we deal with a lot of chronic cases also, chronic shoulder problems, chronic hip problems. And a lot of times those are cases where there's been biomechanical stress for lots of years, construction
Like old
workers,
injuries.
the old injuries that come and haunt people down, later in life. And so those are a little tougher cases. They feel longer, but by restoring the normal biomechanical operation of their bodies, their function of their nervous system returns, and they can recover. Yeah. So a lot of times we have a lot.
Yeah, and it's very important, just to remind everyone that chiropractic is a drugless, non-invasive procedure.
Right.
So
Yeah.
often, if people have tried other things, and if they were to come in and have a bad shoulder and have Dr. E work on them, or give them some exercises, it's very, very, very low risk. There's no very low
Right.
risk involved.
Right.
Also, you've helped pregnant women. Of course, I bring it around to that because I worked as a doula for so many years. But I know that you help women who are expecting a baby.
Exactly.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, of course, when women get pregnant, their biomechanical whole body changes. Okay, their pelvis changes, their shoulders change, and so their bodies are under stress just being pregnant. Okay,
Right.
and so what we do is I see women throughout their whole pregnancy. Okay, so I get them ready for that wonderful delivery, and so their pelvis is even, their spine is fully functioning, so that the birth process is easy and effortless for them.
I shouldn't say
effortless,
easier.
Easier. I should apologize. For
Spoken
that.
like a man.
Right. And also, I know that you've helped some of my clients with just like they were experiencing back pain or whatever from the pregnancy, and it helped ease it for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it also just makes their whole, pregnancy and delivery much easier.
And afterwards, a lot of people go through a birthing process and just don't feel quite, like themselves afterwards.
Right.
And, very often, a few adjustments, getting some exercises to help them, feel back to normal again is really something that, has been a wonderful relief to lots of women,
Yes.
And I see them after the delivery too, when they start carrying their babies on one side of the hip.
Oh, that's
there,
right. Yes.
And they start
Yes.
tilting their pelvis, and then what happens? They come with low back pain, and they wonder why. I said, "Well, how are you carrying your baby?"
The
Right here,
breastfeeding moms.
Breastfeeding moms,
Right.
the
You get
the
the arm and
shoulders,
shoulder. Yeah.
shoulder problems. So any chronic stress will create those misalignments, and so we want to just get to the cause. Show them how to take care of. We fix the misalignments in their spine. Show them how to do exercise and strengthen up that area. And they do better.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being a great chiropractor in the Napa Valley. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
happy that, I don't practice anymore. I'm sure happy that there's wonderful chiropractors in Napa to turn to for the people of Napa Valley.
Absolutely.
So, Dr. Alan Esquibel, really a pleasure to have you with us. I know it's been a real joy for Kelly.
Yes. You can tell I'm glowing over here. Well, he's changed my life. So
Thank you so much.
For
It was
the
a pleasure.
better.
It was a pleasure being here.
Well, thank you both so much. Thank you, Dr. Sharon. This is your Wednesday Wellness Wake Up brought to you by the Napa County Chiropractic Association. And I want to remind you that members of the association are at Chef's Market every week to answer all of your questions. So be sure to stop by and say hello. And for more information, you can check them out online at napachiro.com. Coming up next, your news, weather, and traffic at 1440 KVON 99.3 The Vine.